Hello, welcome to part 3 of our Exchanging Busy for Peaceful Productivity Masterclass. You made it. This is day 3, our final video, and we're gonna get super practical now. All right, we've addressed some of the more abstract concepts of what is busy, what is the difference between busy and productivity, and identified kind of where we are on the busy versus productive scale. Then we talked about some of the roots, what causes busy and therefore gets in the way of productivity. And we identified what some of our roots are. Today, we're going to talk about some really practical, actionable, tangible steps that you can take to break out of busy and step into productivity, if that's what you want, which if you're still here, I'm pretty sure that's what you want. So let's talk about it. There's a few key steps, and I'm really excited about this because I love talking about the concepts really, and helping get some clarity and breakthrough around why we do what we do, what our thought processes are. That is my jam as a coach. That's what I love to do. But I also really, really love the really practical steps, because I'm one of those people that really loves some really specific, practical application. Like, okay, cool. You just taught me all this stuff. How do I apply it? So let's get into that application. So number 1, the first step is you need to get clear on what your goals, values, and priorities are. Because the productive person operates from her goals, values, and priorities. That is what determines the productive woman's choices. Therefore, you need to get clear on what are yours. What matters to you? What are your goals? What are your priorities? What are your values? And I've shared with you already, actually, and I'll put it in the description again of this video, a resource, a free download that I've created with 5 groups of questions. So there's more than 5 questions, it's just 5 different types of questions to kind of help get you started on that process of what does matter to you. What are your values? What are your priorities? What are your goals? Get clear on that. When you are with clarity comes clarity everywhere else. When you have clarity on your goals, your values, and your priorities, you will start getting clarity every other part of your life, because with productivity, we operate based on those values, goals, and priorities. And so it makes decisions really easy if you know what matters to you. Then the next thing we need to do is release people pleasing. You get to decide, I'm done people pleasing. It's a decision. It's a quality decision. And there might be some drama around that. There might be some need to do some work around why you people please and things like that. But really a lot of it too is a decision to say, you know what, starting today, I am not a people pleaser anymore. Today, I am going to start operating out of priority, out of what my values and my goals and my priorities are, and have healthy boundaries. That's a choice that you get to make. You get to step into productivity by releasing that people pleasing, because it is pretty much impossible to operate in productivity if you're a people pleaser. The next thing that you're going to do, step 3, give yourself permission to say yes to what aligns to those goals, values, and priorities, and no to what does not. Permission. The only person who needs to give you permission is you. If you need me to give you permission, I'll do it too. Okay, you have permission. Say yes to what aligns with your values, goals, and priorities. Say no to what doesn't. There you go. You have permission from me. But really the person who matters the most is you. You need to give yourself permission to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to give that to yourself. You're going to make that commitment. Just like you're releasing people pleasing, you're going to make that commitment. I give myself permission to say yes to the things that align with my values, goals, and priorities, and no to the things that don't. Now, one of the things that can get in the way of this is that we might feel like we're saying no forever to something that we might want to do in the future. So I want to also address this. When it comes to goals, values, and priorities, things shift season to season. So your season right now, whatever season you're in, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you have kids, whether you don't, whether your kids are young or older, All of those things are seasons, and seasons shift. Seasons shift. Sometimes they can shift weekly. Sometimes they can shift monthly. Sometimes it's a little longer. Sometimes it's more like 6 months to a year. It kind of just depends on where you are in life. For example, like right now, I'm a mom. I have 2 young kids, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I'm expecting my 4th child because, as I've shared before, my 3rd child passed away. So I have 2 living children with a 3rd on the way. We're in a season right now of 2 little kids, me being pregnant, but this season is this one season. When the baby's born, that's going to be a whole new season. Right? And then 6 months later, when the baby's 6 months old and all the kids are that much older, that's going to be a new season, right? So whatever season you are in, give yourself permission to be flexible and acknowledge, even within your goals, values, and priorities, there's going to be some values and priorities and even goals that don't really change regardless of the season you're in. For example, the goal of raising children who love the Lord. That's going to be the goal forever, right? Like, if you're a mom, you're never going to not have that goal. But the priorities and the values that help you get there might shift. There might be a season where your value for activities outside the home is really high. And so you say yes to a lot of those things and say no to doing as much at home. And then there might be a season that's the opposite, where, you know what, the value of staying home and being in kind of maybe more of a rest season is more important. So your values and priorities are going to shift from season to season. So you need to give yourself permission for that too. And then as you're making the decisions based on your values and priorities, when you're saying no to something, you can say no, especially if it's a good thing. Say no for this season. In this season, I'm not going to do this. For example, I really love baking, particularly baking bread from scratch. However, when I got pregnant, I did not have the energy in the first trimester to do that. And then I discovered that I have a severe gluten allergy, which makes making homemade bread a little more challenging if I'm making wheat bread, which is all I know how to make at the moment. And so for the season of my first trimester, all the way to recently, I was saying no to something that really I value, but was not right for the season. So in this season, I am saying no to making bread from scratch, and I'm purchasing store-bought bread for my children and myself to eat, and my husband, but I'm purchasing store-bought bread for my family. I'm heading into a new season right now with some shifts both in my energy as well as health goals and things that I need to do for health reasons, where that actually is shifting now. And I'm shifting and saying, I'm going to say yes to learning how to make gluten-free bread for my family. Right? So it's the season. And you know what? That season might shift again in 6 months when the baby's born. I'm probably going to step into a season of, you know what? This season, I'm going to say no to making bread from scratch and buy it from the store while I'm in the immediate postpartum season, right? Seasons change is my point. So give yourself permission to say yes to what aligns with your values and goals, no to what doesn't. But if you're having a hard time with that because they're good things that you're saying no to, just say for the season. Acknowledge that you could change your mind later. You could change your mind in a month. You could say no to doing some volunteer opportunity right now because it's not in line with your priorities right now. But in a month, you might change. Things might change. That's okay. So part of what can help you with this, especially if you're someone who has a lot on your plate right now, you're like, okay, that's great. I'm clear on what my goals and my priorities are. I've stepped out. I've released people pleasing. I'm giving myself permission. But here's the deal. I've got a lot on my plate. What do I do now? Because it's still overwhelming. I still have too much. This is where you get to implement the assess, delegate, cut strategy. And I've actually shared this on my social media within the last couple of weeks, how to do this. And I actually have a blog post about it on my blog, which I will link, which gives a lot of details on how to implement the assess, delegate, cut strategy. But basically what you're going to do is you are going to brain dump everything that you are doing. You're going to make a list of every single commitment that you have and write it down on a piece of paper. Then you are going to assess it. You're going to take a look. You're going to kind of sort it out and go, okay, number one, what aligns with your values, your goals, and priorities? What actually do you want to be doing? What do you really not want to be doing? What are you doing because what did you say yes to out of obligation or people pleasing that you don't actually want to do? Take a look at all of these things and really assess what actually matters. Take a highlighter, highlight with like a color you like, the things that actually align with your goals, values, and priorities and that you care about. The things that you're really not a huge fan of, whether it's you signed up to do it out of a sense of obligation, people pleasing, or it worked for a season but it really isn't working anymore, those need to be highlighted with a different color. And then you're going to take a look at those, the things that are not aligned with your priorities and things. Is there anything in there that you can delegate? Because maybe there's things that you actually do want to accomplish, but it's maybe taking a lot of time. It's not within your skill set. Are there things you can delegate? Like if, let's say that your kids are part of sports and they have practice multiple times a week, but it takes a lot to have to take them to practice multiple times a week. Well, can you work with some other moms and do some carpooling situations where each of you take a day? Right? Can you delegate some of the things? And then what can you cut? What can you just say no to? What can you call up and say, hey, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I'm done. I quit. Or, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. What can you cut out of your life? So there's more details about that on the blog post that I will link. But that is a strategy that will help you get what's currently on your plate, hopefully pared down a little bit. Then, once you have gotten clear on your priorities, once you have released people pleasing, given yourself permission to say yes to what aligns and no to what doesn't, you've done some assessing, delegating, and cutting, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to structure your time around your values, goals, and priorities. Now, what do I mean by this? You're going to take a look at the time, at your days, at your weeks, at your months, and you are going to put the big things in first, the most important. Okay, because what we have on our plates, the things that we say yes to, they're usually good things. There's nothing bad that we're doing as a general rule. But what happens is we say yes to all the good and end up saying no or missing out on what was actually best. So it's kind of like this analogy I don't have like the actual visual to show you, but I've seen several people give this analogy and I love it. If you have a big jar and you have to fit a whole bunch of various sized rocks into this jar, if you throw all the little ones in first and then put the big ones in on top, it's not going to fit because the big ones will spill out the top. But if you put the big ones in first and then fill in the cracks with the smaller ones, it all fits. So same thing with your time, because time is a limited resource. You are going to take a look at your days, your weeks, and your months, and you are going to schedule and plan and structure your life around what the most important things are. If family time is really important to you, you're going to establish some non-negotiable family time days or times. Whether it's a Friday night family dinner or a Sunday afternoon or whatever it is, you're going to establish clear non-negotiables for yourself of these are the big things that matter. If going to Bible study or participating in a specific sport, if those things are what really, really matter to you, put those in your schedule first. Additionally, if being able to rest is important to you, which it should be because we're actually commanded to rest by the Lord. So I'm just going to kind of throw that in there. Rest is important. Schedule in your downtime. Make sure that you're making time for that downtime and that rest. Then you have an idea of what the other cracks are, what the spaces are that you can fit in the other good things that come up. So you're going to structure your time around your values, your goals, and priorities. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to set up systems, rhythms, and routines that are in line with your values and goals in order to automate as much as possible. So what do I mean by this? Well, basically, schedules do not work, especially if you're a mom. Schedules don't work. They're too rigid. They just don't, okay? Saying that, okay, every day I get up at 6 a.m. and by 7 a.m. we're doing this, and by 8 a.m. we're doing this. Okay, it doesn't work. It's not going to work. So if you think it will or you want it to, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It's not going to work. Schedules, they don't. However, having a structure, having a system, having some rhythms, that does work. So a couple of, just give you some examples of some rhythms. Like, let me use laundry as an example, right? Everybody has to do laundry, right? There's practical things in our lives that is kind of, it's not even really of like, oh, does this align with my values, goals, and priorities? Well, you need clean underwear. So it kind of doesn't matter how much you value having clean laundry. You do need to wear clean underwear at some point in your life, right? So you're gonna have to do laundry regardless. So there's certain things like that, keeping your kitchen clean, doing your laundry. Those kind of things are kind of like, duh, you have to do them, whether you want to or not. And, you might, if you have the financial flexibility, you might be able to delegate some of that. You could hire someone to come clean your house and do your laundry and stuff for sure. And that could definitely be something that you do. But for most people that I'm talking to, and myself included, that's not really super realistic at the moment, having a budget to have somebody come clean my house. So I get to do it. So laundry, let's talk about laundry. One thing that I do with laundry is I have a laundry day. And I learned this from a wonderful, sweet woman named Kim Brenneman. She talks about this on how to create systems for home management. So I highly recommend looking her up, Kim Brenneman of Home Plain and Simple. She has an amazing course on home management, on how to automate stuff. It's been a game changer for me personally since I took it. So for example, laundry. We all have to do laundry. So I have a laundry day. Mondays are laundry day for me. Having a day that I've just decided, okay, laundry day is Monday, removes any drama. I'm not waiting till I run out of underwear and then going, crap, I have to do laundry day today, but I'm supposed to go to this Bible study and I have a meeting and blah, blah, blah. I'm not worried about that because you know what? Monday's laundry day. So Monday morning, I get up, I get dressed. Literally the first thing I do is I haul my laundry basket out to the garage where my laundry is and I start a load of laundry before I even make breakfast. And then throughout the day, I rotate the laundry and fold it and put it away and do all the things. So there's no drama there. There's no having to make a decision because the decision's made. I just do it. It becomes a habit. I don't even have to think about it. So this is what I mean by systems. Creating systems, creating habits, routines, systems, and flows in your home and how you operate will automate as much of your life as you can so that you don't have to make as many decisions in a day. Because where overwhelm can come in, even for a productive person, is having to make a lot of decisions because decisions require energy. And especially as women who have a very full lives, right? A lot of us here have marriages that we're married. Most of us have children. Some of us have some sort of a work job that we do either inside or outside the home, on top of managing our homes and how all the things that those entail, plus any sort of volunteer, right? We all have full lives. And so we have a lot of decisions that we have to make in a day. And so if we can automate as much of that as possible, where we're not having to make the decision of, oh, do I do laundry today or tomorrow? Or when am I going to do laundry this week? Oh, what am I going to get around to cleaning the kitchen this week? I don't know. Remove that from your life by automating it. Just decide, hey, Monday's laundry day. So like for me, everybody's different. For me, Monday's laundry day. Tuesday's office day, which is when I make sure bills are paid and I assess the budget and I do kind of, office-y housekeeping things for both my personal and business. Wednesday is errand day. It's the day that we have Bible study. We go and I go grocery shopping that day, etc. Thursday's kitchen day. We cook, we clean, we do lots of like cooking and baking and things on that day. Friday is I call it flexible Friday. It kind of depends on the week, where I will either, if I'm home, I clean. I do some deeper cleaning. If I'm not home, because a lot of times we'll do field trips on Fridays or go over to my parents or do stuff like that, have family time, then I'm doing that. Saturday is then also, I like to call it kind of project day. So that's the day that like I will maybe deep clean or get a specific project done or whatever. And then Sunday's rest day / the Lord's day, where we go to church and we just kind of rest. Right? So that's kind of it's a rhythm in my home. Does it look the identical every single day? No, but it removes the drama around when I do laundry. It removes the drama around when am I going to batch cook some of those, egg cups that I like eating for breakfasts. When am I going to make some muffins to stick in the freezer for something or whatever it is? When am I going to go grocery shopping? It removes decisions about that because the decision's been made and I just operate that way. And I made that decision based on what works for me and my family in this season. So doing that, setting up systems, rhythms, and routines that are in line with your values, goals, and priorities, right? So I just gave you the list of kind of what basically how I theme my days in a week. It might look different for you depending on what season of life you're in and where you live. You don't have to have the same themes of your days, right? I took someone else's themes and I tweaked them to make them my own and fit me. So but really reducing your need to make decisions in a day is a huge game changer. Other practical things like putting bills on auto pay and stuff like that can really help as well, because again, you're not making decisions about, when am I going to pay this bill? Like, it's going to come out on X day and I don't even have to think about it. It's just going to happen. I just need to make sure there's, the right amount of money in the bank account, right? So, those are some really like practical, tangible steps for how to break out of busy and step into productivity. Now, one thing to kind of think about that I do want to address for you too, though, is that this is only going to work long term. These practical strategies will only work long term if you are also working on identifying and addressing the root causes of why you are busy, like we talked about in video 2. Because the root causes are deeper than practical do this, not that. The root causes are what drive your behavior. And so making behavioral changes will only work in the long run if you're also working on the root causes of that behavior. So you can start implementing these changes right now and you're gonna see results and it's gonna be awesome. But if you don't address the root causes, you're gonna find yourself slipping back into old patterns and then get frustrated and not know why, because you need to address the root. So just wanna make sure that I kind of warn you about that so that you're kind of aware, like, and it's doesn't have to be super complicated in addressing the root. Seek the Lord. Identify the root, seek the Lord, ask him to show you what's causing it, how to heal, whether it's a fear of rejection or a fear of abandonment or a fear of failure or perfectionism, whatever it is. Ask him to help you work through it. It's just part of the process as you're doing these practical things. Make sure you're taking some time to do the mental work too and the spiritual work. So this was all over the last couple of days, some pretty awesome information. And I know it's going to just completely transform your life. And some of you just needed this info. You're going to take these really practical steps. Some of you, that's all you needed, right? You're going to take these really practical steps. You're going to take them. You're going to run with them. You're going to change things and see some amazing results. And it's going to be fantastic. And I'm so excited for you. And for those of you, I am so glad that this was able to bless you. And I invite you to please share your results with me. I would love to be your cheerleader and cheer you on as you take this knowledge, apply it, and get those results. And I want to cheer on your wins. So please share with me as you're seeing those results. I would love to just cheer you on. So I'm so glad that this blessed you, and I'm so happy for you. There's others of you who are here today, and you might have actually encountered similar information like this before. You might have heard things like this, and you're listening and you're like, yeah, this sounds great and it makes sense, but why is it not working for me? I've tried this. Why is this not working for me? I actually want to talk to you, okay? Because what happens is that our subconscious can interfere with our being able to implement the practical things. And the solution to that subconscious interference is actually really simple, but it does require a one-on-one conversation. So if that's you and you feel like you've tried this before and you're hearing it again, and you're hearing similar things and it's just not getting you the breakthrough, you're just keep coming up against the same wall and you're not breaking through, give yourself the gift of a one-on-one conversation. I just want to talk with you and identify if there's some things that I might be able to help you with on a deeper level, and see if that helps you get that breakthrough. So if that is you, send me a message, drop a link, or drop a hands up in the comments, or I'll also put a link to my calendar so you can just go directly and book a one-on-one call with me. It's free. You can book a call with me, we can chat. And if you look at my calendar and you see stuff and you're like, I don't really see any times that work for me because you're in a different time zone or something, just message me. I'm happy to have a conversation with you in via message and find a time that would work for both of us, that if it's not on the calendar. Okay, so that's just something for you, that if that's you, that you heard all this and you're like, I'm just not, it's great info, but I'm not getting the breakthrough I want, maybe this will be what'll help. And I would really love to see if I can help you. So check that out. The link will be in the description, or again, you can email me at coachamanda@amandakstout.com. And I will see you all later. Have a wonderful day, my friends.